Hi, we're here with Stephanie Edwards to celebrate the launch of her new book, Charleston Grit. And thanks for taking the time today. I just want to talk through a couple of questions that your readers might have about this new book. So tell us a little bit about where does this book fall in your existing series?
Great question. So, the Isle of Palm Suspense series was launched back in 2020, and we've released books over the past 5 years or so. When I finished up Christmas on Palm Court, I felt like there was another story that needed to be told, and that was Nancy Parsons' story. And I wanted to really share who she was as a character and her motivation, her origin story. And so I wrote the prequel, Low Country Charm. After finishing up that book, though, I decided that there was more to her story. So here we are launching Charleston Grit.
Excellent. And for those that are viewing the video, while the giveaway promotion is still happening, the first of the 5 words that you'll be listening for during this podcast are besties. So the first word is besties. All right. So for those that have read your other Palm Court books, what is different about this one? What might surprise the reader?
So this is the second book from Nancy's point of view. None of the other books are from the same woman's point of view. In the Isle of Palm Suspense series, it centers around, each book centers around a different sister's point of view. And of course, Low Country Charm is also from Nancy's point of view.
Okay. And again, for those that are following along for the giveaway, the word is island. So the second word is island. All right. Next, what characters can readers expect to see returning from other books in the series?
So if you've read the rest of the series, you'll see most of the characters you're familiar with the exception of Elena and Brittany's significant others who come along later in the series. But you will see a little bit of Parker and Quint, who are both very prominently featured in The Haunting on Palm Court. All of the Nelson sisters, their mom, and of course Granny Mason, aka Julia Caroline, and Nancy Parsons in the lead.
All right. And again, for those following along, the word for this question is ghost. So it's ghost. So far to recap, we have besties, island, and ghost. So you mentioned this book being centered around Nancy's perspective, Nancy's point of view. You've mentioned before that you enjoy writing about Nancy, that she's your favorite, and this is the second book kind of featuring her as the main character. What is it about Nancy that makes her so special for you?
She's very sassy and doesn't have a problem telling people how it is. And I think that's just something that a lot of Southern older ladies, that's who they are. And I love that. I love how matter of fact they can be. And I've drawn inspiration from a lot of the really stronger, older Southern women I've had the great pleasure of knowing throughout my life.
Excellent. And for those following along, I think quite appropriately, the word for this one is family. So we talked a little bit about what might surprise your readers. What surprised you writing this book?
Everything surprises me when I'm writing. The characters really take the reins and control the story. I'm what they call a pantser, which means I fly by the seat of my pants when I'm writing. So I never know what's coming next. The characters really drive the show.
Excellent. And the word for this one is elevator. Elevator. All right, so final wrap-up question. Stephanie, what's next for readers? What do you have in the works? What's brewing?
I have a few different stories I'm playing around with. One of them is a sequel to The Word Dancer, which was my standalone novel that is historical fiction, takes place in Appalachia in the 60s. So I'm looking back at Maribel and her family and trying to decide how that story should build out. I'm also working on a totally unrelated rom-com that takes place in the Southeast and follows the story of a young woman who returns to her roots. And there are a lot of mysteries, and you don't really know why she's there exactly, what drove her away, and um, just her motivation. It's really going to be interesting. I'm not sure where it's going yet, so I'm sure readers will be interested to see what happens for her too.
Well, I know from some of our other conversations, you've got some other ideas in the works too. So a lot of exciting things potentially coming out in the future. So a lot to look forward to. The word for that final question is blue bottle. Blue bottle. So there you have it. Stephanie, when does the book come out?
So this comes out April 7th, which is today. If you're watching it the day that we released the video, and I'm really excited to hear what readers think. Also, if you're in East Tennessee, I hope you'll join me at Neighborly Books in Maryville, Tennessee from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday, April 11th.
All right. And for those that are following along for the giveaway, when does the giveaway wrap up?
So we'll wrap up at 11:59 p.m. Friday, so early Saturday morning.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for spending some time with us today. Be sure to go out and reserve your copy of Charleston Grit, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.